Reading is a huge part of our everyday lives. It's a skill we learn at an early age and use daily, but for some people, reading isn't an easy task. Dyslexia is a disorder that affects the areas of the brain that process language, making it more difficult to read or write. This makes school especially difficult for people struggling with dyslexia, since most aspects involve reading or writing in some form or fashion.
Dyslexia to me is a struggle to be able to keep up with my peers and to be able to understand and comprehend reading material.
I don't know, it's been really tough for me just going through school and not being able to read as fast or, just process things as quickly as some of the other students, and it's definitely something that I've wrestled with all my life.
Dyslexia is a neurological condition in the brain that makes hearing sounds and words difficult. It's a language-based disorder. Approximately 1 in 5 people have some characteristics of dyslexia. So that could range from being very mild, where they really read pretty well, but maybe it just shows up in their spelling and in their writing. But if you have more severe dyslexia, learning to read can be a very difficult process taking years. So it is very, very common. Most people with dyslexia have a family history of it.
I'm unable to read textbooks kind of material all fully and comprehend it well. It will take me much more time than a normal person.
I thought that it was my fault, while I was it's my fault that I'm failing this class. And then my teacher started to realize that it wasn't my fault.
Reading is a very foundational life skill. And if you are a student sitting in class and you are intelligent, you're intelligent, but reading is so difficult for you compared to all of those around you, and they just seem to pick it up really easily, it can be very difficult.
It haunts me every day. It's biting me pretty good, but
just miscommunication is really a big thing, where you're trying to do one thing, but your words won't come out in the way that you want it to. So it really just messes up everything for you.
It is not related to cognitive ability. So there are gifts and strengths that people with dyslexia have that are often very advanced compared to their peers. They can be very creative thinkers. They can be very strong in science. They can be brilliant and still have trouble learning to read.
Maybe that student isn't just lazy. Maybe that student isn't just not trying. Maybe they're actually having trouble.
To someone who doesn't have it, and it varies between people, it's basically you're required to have a race. Everybody has to take a race, but there's some people who has no legs or one leg or amputees. So sometimes they'll give you a crutch, but you still have to run.